Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Faye, how are you?
So glad you are here. Good, thank
Thanks for
you.
inviting me.
I'm so of course, I'm excited for our conversation, and I hope again this is just first of many, right? Even out of the recording, but we just spoke with Leslie some time ago, um, and I'm excited to talk to you because you are the future, right? Of refugee resettlement and agency. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to you about this. First, if you can introduce yourself to us, right? I think my first question is, are you a native Pittsburgher? If not, what brought you to Pittsburgh?
Hello everyone, and my name is Ivonne Smith-Tapia, and I'm not from Pittsburgh, as you can notice in my accent. I'm from Colombia in South America, and we moved to Pittsburgh because of my husband's job. He found a good job opportunity, and so we moved, and it was maybe 8 years ago, and we haven't left.
Oh, that's incredible. It's so fun. I'm just so excited to talk to you. I forgot to introduce myself to people. Hey guys, Faishala Akintella here, and I manage our Welcoming Pittsburgh initiative for Mayor Perdita. As you can see, I'm excited for our guest, and it was like I'm just gonna jump right in. But anyway, so thanks, Yvonne. Okay, you've been here for 8 years, and you came here from Colombia because of your husband's job. So you've been here 8 years and you've done a lot of work within those 8 years and even before, right, in Colombia. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like what is it that you've worked in, right? That kind of led here.
Yes. So before moving to Pittsburgh, I was working very actively in Colombia in different areas. I'm a cultural anthropologist. So in Colombia, anthropologists have the opportunity to connect organizations, government, especially organizations and government programs that want to work with communities but don't know how. So anthropologists give them
Mm-hmm.
the kind of tools and strategies, and we create programs to allow them to understand the needs of the community, to make sure that both the community and the agencies and government are finding some wins and benefiting for the programs that are going to be implemented. So that was kind of my background. I work with community development. I work with diverse communities in Colombia, within Colombia, and I had that background. So when I moved to Pittsburgh, it was quite difficult to find a job. I think
Mm-hmm.
here, in my experience, hopefully, well, things have changed, and hopefully, immigrants and refugees are not facing these barriers as often. But it was hard for me to find a position because of my experience for over 10 years was in Colombia. So then that's kind of like my uh, background. And then before, like when I moved here, so I decided to do an MSW to, for several reasons. One, to prove to people that I had like a university from the United States in my resume, but also to, and kind of to reaffirm people like I know some things, but also to really to get to know the city, to get to know the needs, and to understand better my new home. So it was, I think, a great decision. And that's actually how I came to know JFCS. Through my MSW, I
Mm.
started as an intern here. So I
Wow.
start to get to know better the refugee world back in 2015. And because of my background, I thought this is my passion. I'm going to be involved with immigrants and refugees as in any capacity that I can.
And that is amazing how it came full circle.
Yeah, yeah.
We started as an intern, and now look, you're the director of this program. That is incredible. And so Actually, now the question is a little bit funny because now I understand why refugee resettlement. I mean, you were a cultural anthropologist. For anyone listening, and you're like, what can I study? That seems like an incredible field, right? So look it up, see if your school has it, because that's fascinating.
And if I can say something more around that, it's I
Yes.
in Colombia, we have been dealing with an internal conflict for so many years. So I experienced that part in a personal way as well. In Colombia, we have a lot of internal displaced people that are forced to leave their homes in the countryside and move to other cities, but also to leave the country and find refugee status in other countries. So I grew up with an internal conflict with violence and things that are really close to my heart. So to me, moving from that context to working here with refugee and immigrants is really also a personal issue that I have a commitment that when I was working in Colombia with people that were displaced, but also now working in another country, I understand from a personal experience as well as an immigrant what it really means to live in another country, even though my conditions are different. But I have like this professional kind of knowledge, but also like a personal connection to these issues.
I'm just gonna imagine, not be naive, but let's say if 5 years from now, what is one policy that you want to see be implemented? And it could be government, it could be corporations that maybe would help move the work of refugee resettlement forward. And you could answer as being the current director, or even as, again, with your master's in social work and other places that you've worked, what is something that you've seen as being a huge hurdle that is yet to be done, if that makes sense?
I think, and JFCS has a program that it's really targeting the different components, but I think the issues that refugee families face are not one dimension. For instance, if you find a job, like it's a entry-level job for a refugee family, that employer, that company, is not really thinking of the other aspects of the refugee's life. It's not thinking that this person will benefit from learning English, but does the schedule that I'm providing for this employee allow him or her to attend ESL classes? No. Do I have, as an employer, the opportunity for this family to have flexibility to around childcare? So how it's transportation an issue? I know like these are structural problems that affect other families as well as childcare and transportation. But I think one policy that I would like to see is how we connect services in a smoother way. So it's easier for refugees that are really understanding their new life and trying to navigate all these systems. It's easier for them to navigate because the system allows them to kind of thrive instead of like a struggle. So for me, it's how can we implement policies that allow us better to connect businesses with the government programs, with the services that the organizations like as resettlement agencies provide, but also the other supports that they have access to, right? Like they can have, there is not because we don't have a lack of services. In many ways, the services are there, but are not really communicating with each other. So for me, is how can we advocate to, as a system, as a community, as a government, with businesses, with human services organizations, communicate better. So that allows refugees to feel less stress about learning and adapting and fulfilling their dreams now that they are here.
No, that makes a lot of sense, Ivonne. I'm thinking of Isaac, right? Those Immigrant Services and Connection, that is this 5 agency work, and what you're saying is making me think of can you imagine an Isaac for all of these partners that you're talking about, right? Where you have human services, transportation, corporations, government, just like the streamlined process of Isaac allows you to communicate with all of these partners at once rather than dealing with individuals, right? That is well
And
said, hopefully.
and you know what?
Go ahead.
One issue sometimes I think that it's good, but at the same time it's a problem, that it's a structural problem. Some of the things happen because of individual willingness. So if you have someone that is really someone directing an office, or a person in human resources that knows more about refugee and immigrants, and understands the barriers, and has this awareness and sensibility to work with diverse communities, things move better, right? Or you can make progress faster and easily. But it's because that person. But if that person leaves, then you are like, oh my God, now I have to start again, do training again, because the processes are not there. Things happen because of that person's willingness, and it happens across every industry. So I think that's why I think more structural, more processes, because that shouldn't depend on me or you or that human resources person. It should be in the company's values, right? In the government values, in how we see our city. So I think as well, that's an important goal to have. And of course, training, and that's why training is important, and outreach is important, but shouldn't depend on individuals.
No, that is well said. That is well said. If those policies are part of the infrastructure, the fabric of those organizations, then a lot of the challenges that we often face probably won't be there, especially for your work. Wow, that's well said. I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about you personally, right? You came into this work as director, and as director, you're carrying a lot. I mean, I think I'm trying to remember time back. I think Leslie said, I mean, GSCS has grown a lot. Like, you're carrying a team, different departments. You work with so many different people, and yet you're a mother. I just want to dig into that a lot, especially I'm coming from somewhere personal where I'm thinking, wow, like, I feel like there's this juggle, and I know we've talked a little bit about it as a mom, where you're going to give your heart. I mean, just talking to you can tell you're passionate about this. And because of that passion and because of that personal connection, you're going to give your all to this work. But yet you have a family, you have an incredible young boy as well. So tell me, how do you come to this job as being a mom, right? And how do you, I don't know, what is the balance that you play, the dance that you play in terms of being here full time, being a mom and a wife full time, and other responsibilities that you have as well? How are you doing that dance?
Oh, Faye, I think I'm glad that you asked that question, because I think that's another area that we need to improve as a city, as in a region. I wouldn't be in this role without the support of my family and my husband also, but my extended family, my mom and dad, because I'm still in a waiting list for childcare. And of course, there are childcares, but some childcare is available, but childcare, it's an issue. And with COVID and all of this pandemic situation, I think for parents, it's harder to make the decision to send their kids to just anywhere just because they have an opening. Now, parents, as me and my husband, are thinking, is this daycare safe? Is this daycare has the ventilation that they need to have? Is this daycare has the ratio between kids and teacher the way that it's safe? And some of the childcares don't have that. So I took a break from the workforce last year because I decided that I didn't have in that time my parents here with me, and I didn't want to send Lucas to a childcare. I was waiting for the right place for us and for Lucas, and we were still in waiting list. And for me, it was a tough decision to stop my career and to say, that's the moment for me to focus on my kid, and let's hope that I could continue working later on. So for me, the balance is not really a balance. And I think it's important for women and also for fathers to talk about that, because I think that it's an illusion. And women are pressured to say that they have balance between life, personal life, and work. And that's the idea, the benchmark. And then if you've seen me, or like if a woman seems that they are being working too hard, the advice is you need to find personal time for you and self-care. Like when, how? How is that going
That's
to,
right. That's
if
right.
if I don't have family with me that allow me to go for a date with my husband? So, or if I don't have any trust person in my neighborhood that can take my kid for 2 hours, or if I don't have the money to pay for a nanny. So, you know, this is an issue for refugee and immigrant women all over. A lot of refugee women cannot go to work even though they want to, because they cannot afford childcare. And when they have here, they don't know many people, or other families cannot take care of their kids. So families have to make these decisions and saying, I'm staying home, taking care of the kids. Or maybe when they are growing up, I can find a part-time job and I am available to pick them up from school. So there are so many barriers that I feel it's so hard to find a balance. Now I'm able to take this job that has a lot of responsibility because I have a support network that allow me to invest a lot of my time in this amazing position. But if I was without them, I would be a stay-home mom.
It takes a village, right? That's what you're
Mhm.
saying. It's a village that allows you as a working mom to do what you do, right? So again, it leads me to this question. As the new director, and this is probably a lot of pressure, feel free to be like, I am so figuring it out. But like, what is like your first order of business? You, you know all of these challenges, you've dealt with it personally. What is something you're like, you know what, within my first 3 6 months, my first year, this is something I want us to do in JFCS?
You know, I haven't gotten that far because my first goal, the first thing that I want to do is that I want to experience the programs that we are currently have in place to see how they work. Because I have read a lot of documents, I have been in meetings, but I want to really experience the way that families experience or the way that staff are implementing the program. So my goal, the first thing that I want to do is to have that experience from what was written in the paper and how are we implementing them and how is it working, and attending, for instance, this week I'm going to be at the airport
Picking up a
welcoming.
family.
Yes, and I am
Awesome.
so excited for
Yeah.
that because it's going to be my first time being part of that process. So I am very excited. So that's one of my first goals. And my second goal is to listen.
Mm,
I I am lucky that I joined a strong organization with a strong team. So I didn't arrive to this position thinking that I am the one that knows more and knows like the solutions. I am working with a team that is very good, that they have expertise and they have knowledge. So my second goal for the first few months is to listen to them, to hear what uh, their the barriers that I also see in this work and their goals that they have. and as a collective group, identify what are the priorities. And of course, we already have some ideas and priorities, but I don't want to start saying like these 1, 2, 3 are my goals, because I understand and I am very aware that they have a lot of expertise that I need to rely on. And I think that's also my way to work, recognizing that it's a team effort and not just the director's effort.
That is well said. You actually answered, that's it. The first rule of order is one, experience the organization, right? From the very beginning to how it even gets to your table. I think that's true signs of a leader, that you are of a great leader, and to rely on your team. And you have a great team, an incredible team. So that's exciting. So I want to ask you, how could people like follow or get in touch with you as a person if they want to learn from you, or even follow, again, the things that you said you want to see happen, like communities playing a huge role in the resettlement? How could people look forward to, hey, when is the opportunity going to be posted? So as a family, as an individual, I want to help. Is there an email? Is there something people could sign up
I
for?
think the best way is to follow JFCS in their social media. They are very active in, we are very active in sharing on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter the news of all of our programs, not only refugee resettlement, but also the work that we do, mental health, youth, the Career Development Center, and all of the other departments that we have within the organization. And I'm trying to be more active on my social media, especially LinkedIn, because I think that's a good platform to really share things about work. And so I'm there, trying to post more and be more active. But I think the best way, we actually have like a Genius sign up. I don't know if we're saying it right. I'm saying it right. It's like a list when a refugee family arrives to Pittsburgh, there are so many items that we need to get for them. So if people want to donate or want to buy any of the items or even give us a gift card, that will be lovely. And the organization share those on Facebook and social media. And we tell them there is a new family arriving from Iraq, or like we tell a little bit of the family. And those are the things that you can sign up to buy. And then our team coordinates with every person to make the process smooth for them to get the things to the family.
That's awesome. And that's, I mean, this is called Welcome Neighbor. So that's a great way to be a neighbor, right? Is to help those that are in need. So yes, we look forward to following again JFCS on Twitter, Facebook, and that's it, right? And following you on LinkedIn. So follow Ivonne Smith-Tapia and Instagram. Okay, so different ways. And again, if you're not on social media, follow Ivonne on LinkedIn, and you will get the information you need as well. So Ivonne, thank you so much for your time. Before I let you go, is there any last minute comments, anything you want to say before we let you go?
I just want to say thank you, Faye, for the work that you have done at the city. I know that you and your team have worked so passionately to make things happen and to put together different organizations and to create a little bit of the processes that I was mentioning before. So how we communicate better, how we identify the gaps and the barriers, and how can we find solutions, and how can we really attentive to the implementation and monitoring progress. And I know it has been a lot of work from your team during COVID and virtually. So I just really want to say thank you for the work that you have done and for your team. And I hope that we can stay in touch in the future to keep working on important issues.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ivonne. And I appreciate that. And thank you so much. So I could keep in touch with you so we could remain connected. Thanks. Yes. Thank you.